What's going on, guys? It's the TheDrShow. In this video, we'll be doing our best to bring you up to speed on the entire Treyarch Zombies storyline to prepare you for the Black Ops 3 Awakening DLC brand new zombie map, Eisendrache. For this video, we've aimed for speed and importance to the new map and have therefore left out some details. This will be a two-part video, with this first video focusing on World at War through to Black Ops 2 and part 2 focusing more on Black Ops 3 and possible theories. Without further ado, let's get straight into this one.
The Call of Duty zombie storyline starts before World War II with Dr. Maxis and Dr. Edward Richtofen along with their group of scientists called Group 935. They are attempting to use Element 115 to improve the human condition by developing advanced technologies. Dr. Edward Richtofen began developing a teleportation machine called the MDT at the TheDrShow facility, but Maxis, swayed by Nazi backing, thought it was wasted time and demanded he focused on technology to help win the war. Richtofen ignored his request and continued to develop the MDT and agreed to be teleported to test the machine. However, rather than appearing at the test site's mainframe, he arrived on the moon, where a large pyramid device known as the MPD was located. After touching the device, Richtofen began to go mad and hear voices in his head.
He was then teleported to Shangri-La. Richtofen remained there for 3 weeks and learned of a mysterious energy force known as the Vril. This is where his thirst for power begins. Richtofen returns to the TheDrShow facility with full knowledge of the MPD and the Vril. Richtofen then teleports a small group of 935 scientists loyal to him to the moon to build Griffin Station in order to study the MPD device, which he now knew to be a dimensional gateway to the ether. Little did the scientists know they were purely helping Richtofen enter the ether in order to control its power.
Richtofen planned to eventually kill Maxis and enter the ether using the MPD to take control of its energy. In the meantime, Richtofen returns to the Earth to work alongside Maxis. Meanwhile, Maxis has stolen Richtofen's idea and has begun focusing on teleportation. The initial tests failed, with test subjects becoming unresponsive zombies. The Nazis thought zombies could be used as a weapon, and pushed Maxis to figure out how to control the zombies. In this time, Group 935 uses the map Verrückt for testing and Shinonuma as a 115 source. During the unsuccessful attempts to control the zombies, Richtofen travelled to a Siberian Group 935 outpost, which is called the Dead, to experiment with 115 on living test subjects, using prisoners of war including Nikolai, Takio and Dempsey. Through the testing process, their memories were erased and another subject was killed.
When both scientists return to TheDrShow, World War II is ending and heading towards an Allied victory. Richtofen discovers Maxis has not gone through with his promise to mass-produce the Wonderwolf DG2 weapon that he made, which enrages him and leads him to plot the death of Maxis and his daughter, Samantha. With a lack of funding for 935, Maxis and Richtofen are under pressure to develop technology with limited resources. For this reason, Samantha's dog Fluffy is used as a teleportation subject. Samantha arrives at the lab as Fluffy is turned into a hellhound. Amongst the chaos, Richtofen seizes the opportunity to proceed with his plan by locking Samantha, Maxis and Fluffy in the teleporter, hoping Fluffy will kill them.
Unbeknownst to Richtofen, Samantha and Maxis were both actually teleported to separate locations. Samantha arrived at Griffin Station, where the MPD awaited open. Samantha accidentally ran into the device, entering the ether and gaining control of its energy. Richtofen teleported Maxis to the moon, who was stuck in the tunnels of Buried, to try and convince her to come out of the MDT. However, when she opened the MDT, Maxis asked her to use the ether to destroy Group 935. Maxis was then shot and his soul tried to enter the MDT, but it was already occupied, so it was transported to another realm where he can control technology. Samantha becomes enraged and commands the zombie hordes located at numerous 935 outposts to slaughter anyone involved with the organization and Richtofen. Richtofen escapes Moon, now overrun with zombies, and enlists his 3 test subjects to help him survive the hordes of zombies now after him. Realizing that Samantha was in control of the ether, he devised an alternative plan to gain power. Use a Vril generating device and sufficient supply of 115 to switch his soul with Samantha's and enter the ether as an all-powerful being.
They stopped at Shinonuma to locate a supply of the element. Due to a possibility of being overwhelmed by zombies, the 4 abandoned the site and returned to TheDrShow, where Richtofen hoped to use an MDT to arrive at Griffin Station. After the MDT was shot with a Wonderwaffe, it overloaded and ripped through space and time, sending the group into the future, to Kino de Toten. After the events of Kino, the main characters travel via lunar lander to the Russian Ascension facility in order to teleport better. As they continue fighting, Dempsey and Takio slowly begin to regain their memory. They teleport from Ascension to Call of the Dead, but travel through time again to 2011, where they are locked behind a door. At the same time, George A. Romero stumbled upon Group 935's research while making a World War II film. After the crew is attacked by zombies, the 4 surviving actors help Richtofen to obtain the Golden Rod, which is at Call of the Dead. The Golden Rod is the first piece of the Vril device.
The group then travels to Shangri-La where they create the Focusing Stone, the second piece of the Vril device. Now in possession of both the Golden Rod and the Focusing Stone, Richtofen believes he can now switch minds with Samantha. The group then travels to Area 51 to take the teleporter to Griffin Station. Due to Element 115 on the moon, the astronauts and scientists sent there have been zombified before the group's arrival. Richtofen then has the group open the MPD on the moon, which opens up to reveal Samantha. Richtofen then fuses the Golden Rod and the Focusing Stone together. To his disbelief, he encounters the soul of Dr. Maxis inside the station's technology, who tries to stop him. However, Richtofen still manages to switch souls with Samantha, gaining control of the zombies. Dr. Maxis, predicting Richtofen's plot, had prepared a backup plan that involved convincing Takeo, Dempsey and Nikolai to betray Richtofen. The trio launched 3 missiles located on the moon, destroying the Earth's ozone layer in the hopes that it will sever the link to the Aether, thereby greatly lessening the damage Richtofen could cause. Unfortunately, all Maxis achieves is greatly damaging the Earth, creating the post-apocalyptic wasteland of Transit, Die Rise and Buried.
Meanwhile, the Americans are drilling at a former nuclear test site in Nevada, Nuketown, for Element 115. When some of the workers become infected, the CIA is sent in to cover it up. One of Maxis' rockets hit Nuketown, leaving only one survivor, the Black Ops 2 character Malton. Maxis realizes the failure of his original plans due to hasty calculations and begins contacting survivors to help him with his Plan B, to activate global polarization devices and open a gateway to the Aether, where he would overpower Richtofen and use its energy to heal the Earth. Richtofen, unsatisfied with his limited power to the undead, planned to activate these polarization devices as well, which would grant him further manipulation of both zombies and humans. Limited to communicate with only those capable of hearing the voices of the Aether, Richtofen begins his own plight and quest for ultimate power. Malton, Abigail, Russman and Samuel all cross paths at Transit, where they are contacted by Maxis, who reveals the town as the location of a polarization device required for his plans. Samuel has previously eaten zombie flesh, which allows Richtofen to speak and instruct him in his head to foil Maxis' plans by activating the tower in his favour.
The group is then teleported by Richtofen to a skyscraper sweatshop in China, i.e. Die Rise, where both Maxis and Richtofen again try to convince the characters to help them control the second polarizing device. Once the second polarizing device has been activated by either of the Germans, the group manages to escape Die Rise. The group begins a journey to the Rift, which is a place where time and space merge, and find a western town buried underground near the Rift. Maxis and Richtofen once again contact the characters to activate the last tower that is located at Buried. If the characters choose to follow Maxis, a portal to the Aether will open and allow Maxis to become the controller of the zombies and the dimension's energies. He will then proceed with his plans to open Agartha and announces that in the process he will destroy the Earth and reunite himself with his daughter Samantha. If the characters choose to follow Richtofen, the rift will be mended, eternally damning Samantha to Agartha and allowing Richtofen to retrieve full manipulation of the Aether's energies. Richtofen is now able to leave the Aether at will and uses the body of Samantha as his physical host.
Unknown to both doctors, Samantha had actually travelled to an alternate timeline in 1918, known as Origins. In this timeline, Dr. Maxis and his partner, Dr. Richtofen, led an archaeological excavation in northern France. The excavation not only discovers 115 earlier than the original timeline, but also uncovers an ancient and mysterious ruin beneath the battlefield. Richtofen takes part in the creation of giant robots. It is at this time that Richtofen notices Maxis start to show signs of paranoia due to working with 115. He also begins to hear voices of Samantha, who claims not only to be his daughter, but also that she is trapped in a realm known as Agartha and needs his help to escape. Due to Samantha's constant interference with their work, Richtofen fears for Maxis' safety and grows to despise Samantha. The reports of giant robots provoke the United States, Russia, and Japan to send Dempsey, Nikolai, and Takia to investigate. As the three soldiers make their way to the site, Richtofen attempts to preserve Maxis' mind and prevent it from succumbing to the zombie disease, so he removes his brain. Eventually, the four heroes meet and agree to put aside their country's allegiances to band together and survive the zombie attack. The four are able to open a portal to Agartha beneath the ruins, allowing Maxis to meet his future daughter and Samantha to be freed from controlling the zombies. The zombie outbreak was contained.
After the Origins cutscene, the story becomes a little bit blurry and lends itself to theory and speculation. We'll delve into some of these theories in the next video. Hope you're as hyped for Eisendrache as we are. Smash that like button if you are. We'll catch you guys in the next one.